I do have to say FEMA is a big disappointment. We had it working well. We had great people, but FEMA is not good anymore. What FEMA did in North Carolina, you know, they still haven't even gone to certain areas. They don't know what they're doing. And I say, you don't need FEMA. You need a good state government. And when you have a problem in Los Angeles, or when you have a problem even in the state of California, you have your own, essentially FEMA. You fix it yourself. You don't have somebody coming in from a state where they have no idea, like Florida. They come in from hurricanes. They have people staying in Alaska, and now they see, oh, this is very nice. But by the time they get familiar with it, they don't know anything. The FEMA is a very expensive, in my opinion, mostly failed situation.
What if America's key disaster relief agency disappeared overnight? That's exactly what President Donald Trump seems to be suggesting. He has openly criticized FEMA, calling it a very big disappointment. But why is the US president so against the agency? And what does it mean for the disaster management in the country? Let's break it down. FEMA, or the Federal Emergency Management Agency, was created in 1979 under President Jimmy Carter. It operates under the Department of Homeland Security and steps in when local and state governments are overwhelmed by disasters. With a workforce of 20,000 that could swell to 50,000 during emergencies, FEMA coordinates resources across federal agencies. It's headquartered in Washington, D.C., and operates through 10 regional offices across the country. Currently, FEMA is managing 108 major disasters and 10 emergency declarations. However, only 17% of its disaster response workforce is available, raising questions about its readiness for future crises. President Trump's frustrations with FEMA came into focus during his recent visits to disaster hit states. During hurricane hit North Carolina and wildfire ravaged California, Trump accused FEMA of bungling relief efforts. He even suggested states should manage disasters themselves, funded directly by federal money. In his words, and I quote, FEMA has turned out to be a disaster. I think we recommend that FEMA go away. End quote. Trump's remarks have sparked debates about the agency's relevance. While some support his call for reform, others argue FEMA plays a vital role in coordinating large scale responses. FEMA faces multiple challenges, from staffing shortages to funding concerns. In December 2024, Congress allocated $29 billion to fund ongoing disaster relief efforts. However, FEMA says no additional funds have been provided for hurricane recovery in North Carolina. Adding to its woes, it's a growing wave of disinformation. FEMA has been accused of diverting funds for non disaster purposes, a claim the agency denies. It has even set up a dedicated rumor response page to debunk such falsehoods. FEMA's reputation hasn't always been spotless. Its handling of Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico in 2017 and Hurricane Katrina in 2005 drew sharp criticism. In both cases, delayed and inadequate responses left thousands struggling to recover. Despite these controversies, interim FEMA Director Cameron Hamilton, a former Navy SEAL and Trump appointee, has defended the agency. In a letter to staff, he called FEMA a critical agency performing an essential mission in support of our national security. So, will FEMA be scrapped? While Trump's remarks signal his dissatisfaction, dismantling such a critical agency would require significant legislative action. Meanwhile, experts warn that without FEMA, the US could struggle to manage large scale disasters effectively. As extreme weather events become more frequent, the stakes are higher than ever. Whether FEMA is reformed or replaced, America's disaster preparedness hangs in the balance. Trump's criticism of FEMA has put the spotlight on an agency central to disaster relief. But is FEMA truly failing, or does it need better support and reform? one thing is clear: the future of disaster management in the US is now a hot button issue.